You're 18, standing on the edge of a pool in Morgan City, Louisiana, that smells like chlorine and motor oil, and a man missing 2 fingers is timing your swim test with a stopwatch he's used for 30 years. 17 years from now, you'll be the man other men's lives depend on when the water goes black at 300 feet, and your day rate alone will clear 6 figures by Thanksgiving. Between those 2 points is every level of underwater welding in America, what it pays, what it costs, and what's left of you when you get to the top. If you like seeing what these jobs actually pay, subscribe so you don't miss the next one. You're 18. You drove 4 hours to get here with $1,200 in a sock drawer and a duffel bag your mom packed for you because you wouldn't let yourself think about it too hard. The pool test isn't about swimming. It's a 25-yard underwater swim, no goggles, then float for 10 minutes with your hands out of the water. Half the line doesn't make it past the float. You make it. The instructor, Earl, 2 fingers gone to a wire rope decades ago, writes your name on a clipboard and doesn't smile. He's seen this kid 100 times. He tells you the number everyone chases. Divers clearing $150,000, $200,000 a year, and then he tells you the other number. The fatality rate in commercial diving is roughly 40 times the average American job. Most guys who hear that nod and sign up anyway, he says. You'll understand why in about 10 years. You don't understand it yet. You sign the enrollment form for dive school that night in a motel off I-90, and you write the date in a brand new logbook your uncle gave you. The same logbook you'll carry for the next 17 years. You're 19. Dive school is a concrete tank in a metal building that smells like neoprene and diesel. 6 days a week, 6 months straight. Tuition, $17,500 financed, because there's no other door into this trade. The first thing they teach you isn't welding. It's how to stay calm when an instructor cuts your air on purpose, just to watch what you do. Your body screams to bolt for the surface. You don't. You signal the problem and wait. Month 3. Welding starts. You're in a shallow tank with a stinger in your hand, trying to run a bead on steel you can barely see. Hydrogen bubbles through the puddle and eats the weld from the inside if you rush it. Your first attempt looks like a kid melted a crayon on a stop sign. Your instructor doesn't laugh. He marks it failed and tells you to do it again. You do it 40 more times before one passes inspection. Of the 24 students who started with you, 19 graduate. You write the number in your logbook, your underwater welding ticket, page 1, and you drive back to the Gulf with a certification and 0 hours, which means 0 job offers. You're 21. A contractor finally calls, not for diving, for tending. $185 a day, 21 days on, 7 off. You're the lowest rank on the boat. You're not a welder. You're barely a deckhand. A tender's whole job is the umbilical. The bundle of hoses that's the diver's air, comms and lifeline twisted into one. Your only law, never let it foul. If it kinks while a man's at depth, that's not an accident report, that's a body. Week 1, you coil it lazy and a supervisor screams at you in front of the entire deck. You recoil it 40 times that night until your hands do it clean without you thinking. 6 months in, a diver's working a wellhead at 70 feet, and you feel it through the hose before he says a word, a drag that shouldn't be there. His umbilical's caught on a flange and his voice on comms starts climbing. You key the mic and keep your own voice flat. Stop moving, find the bite, walk your hand to it. He clears it. He surfaces and buys you a beer that night, the first time anyone on that boat has said your name like it mattered. You log the entry in your book. Diver, J. Castillo, fouled umbilical, 70 feet, cleared, and you start watching the man in the dive shack instead of the man in the water. He never gets wet. He runs the whole job from a folding chair, and he's the highest paid person on deck. You're 24. The wet welding certification, AWSD 3.6, the line between a diver who can weld and a welder who can dive, comes through, and your day rate jumps to $450 plus depth pay. Your first real job is 60 feet down on a pipeline patch in zero visibility. You vomit inside your helmet on the descent. Everybody does the first time, and then you keep working because there's nowhere else for it to go. The arc doesn't light the ocean. It lights a green bubble 2 inches wide, and inside that bubble you steer the puddle by feel and by sound. The hiss when it's right, the spit when it's wrong. Nobody tells you the job is half listening. 3 weeks later, a wrench slips while you're torquing a clamp and the jaw closes on your glove with your hand inside it. No panic on comms. That's the entire religion of this trade. You breathe. You cut the glove free with the knife clipped to your harness, and your hand comes out raw but yours. You log it. Left hand. Clamp. Self-extracted. No lost time. And you don't tell your mother. The day rate is good now. $450 a day. Sometimes $600 with depth pay. You're making more than anyone you graduated high school with. You're also 24, and you've already used the knife once. You're 29. A recruiter calls about the North Sea, hyperbaric welding, dry welds inside a sealed steel habitat clamped over a pipeline at 280 feet. Day rate, $1,100. 3 times the depth, 3 times the money. Inside the habitat, the water's gone. It's blown out with gas. But the gas is the new danger. You're breathing heliox, which makes your voice come out a cartoon squeak, and the chamber's atmosphere is so oxygen-rich that a single stray spark off your stinger isn't a burn. It's an explosion. You watch every cable, every clamp with a paranoia that never turns off. Your first weld in there fails the X-ray. Porosity, a flaw you can't see with your own eyes. And the support vessel above you is burning $180,000 a day to float over your mistake. You grind it out and rerun it clean. The second one passes. That night, you do the math you've been avoiding. You've spent more nights this year in a steel box than in your own bed. Your daughter is 2. You missed her first steps. Your wife filmed it and you watched it on a tablet at 280 feet, her voice coming through while yours came out helium thin. You write it in the logbook anyway. Habitat weld, 280 feet, X-ray pass on rerun, because the logbook doesn't care what it cost. It only cares what you can prove. You're 35. Saturation. They lock you in a chamber the size of a walk-in closet with 2 other men. Raise the pressure until your body matches 650 feet of seawater, and you live there for 28 days straight. Day rate, $1,650, plus a saturation bonus that puts the tour total north of $45,000. You breathe heliox around the clock. Your coffee tastes like nothing. Helium strips flavor out of everything. Every working day, a bell drops the 3 of you to the seafloor for 6-hour shifts, then hauls you back up to sleep at pressure, because decompressing and recompressing every day would kill you faster than the job will. Decompression at the end of the 28 days takes 6 days of slow, careful stops. There's no emergency exit from that. If the chamber fails during DTO, nobody reaches a valve in time. You know the name of the rig where it happened once in 1983, and you don't say it out loud. You just don't sleep well the night before DECO starts. On day 21, the topside operator slides a note through the medical lock. Your uncle, the one who gave you the logbook 17 years ago, passed in his sleep. You finish the dive. You finish DACO. There is no other option, and somewhere around hour 30 of 6 days of stops, you understand that completely for the first time. When the hatch finally opens, your legs don't work right, and the sun is too bright, and everything smells like a different planet. Your annual pay this year lands somewhere around $250,000. You've also got a knee that clicks in cold weather, a missed first step, and a logbook that's almost full. You drive to your uncle's place before the funeral. His own old welding rig is still in the garage, under a tarp, dial set to where he left it. You pull the tarp off and strike an arc on a scrap of angle iron. The bead's clean. It sounds exactly like it did when you were 17, watching him do it. A kid from your hometown texts you that week. He's 18. He's got a swim test in Morgan City in 3 weeks, and he wants to know if the $17,500 is worth it. You look at the logbook on the passenger seat, 17 years of entries, and you write back one line. Show up. Don't lie in the logbook. The water doesn't care either way. You hand him your uncle's old depth gauge before you leave, the one that's been on every job you've ever logged. It still works. It's his now. $16 an hour grinding bevels at 18. $250,000 a year at 35. 6 certifications, 2 surgeries, 1 missed first step, and a logbook that's somebody else's now too. That's the climb. That's underwater welding. If you've ever wondered what a career actually costs level by level, let me know in the comments which trade I should break down next.